All right, take two, I guess. I'm really excited today. I'm with owner, co-founder of, or founder of HECOstix. We are going to get all of it from him today, everything from how he started to what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to have him explain what it is. Josh Broeker, a longtime friend. His wife and I went to high school together, and then we had the chance to talk and meet up a few times, and I fell in love with his story and everything that he's done. I actually have a couple of his products that he's going to talk to us about today and his path to get there. An athlete at WVU, West Virginia University, and it's a great story. And I'm just gonna, Josh, I want to start off with, can we start off with how everything got started? I mean, from college to right now, or even if it was way before that, if your entrepreneurial spirit, anything from, like I said, from whenever to now, where you are now.
Yeah, so I think kind of just growing up, I've always had, I was an only child. I'm still an only child, clearly. So I always had to find ways to entertain myself. And in doing that, for the most part, it was just getting creative and being resourceful. I found myself, because of where we lived in proximity to our high school, at the baseball fields and football fields, constantly just throwing a football in the air, catching it, kicking field goals, running down, shagging the ball myself, running back, kicking field goals, and just doing stuff like that to keep my time occupied. And I think it all kind of stemmed from that, just early age, childhood, learning how to just kind of cope with being by myself a lot. But, kind of fast forwarding, going to West Virginia and playing football over there, just kind of learning a lot about just character and discipline, and understanding what I wanted to be, just in life in general. I realized that I was a terrible student very fast. And I found myself in the party scene. One thing led to another. It was just a challenging, fun, wild roller coaster of a ride, playing football and also being a student athlete. So, Mike Barr was my strength conditioning coach when I was there from '02 to '04. He and I stayed in touch for quite some time after I left school in '04 and moved down to Florida to be closer to my mom. And, subsequently kind of just been a partner with us, an advisor with HECOstix and the project itself. Prior to that, as you know, Christina, being the self-starter, just crushing it 100%, 150% to everything in life. Living in the Tampa Clearwater area where we first originally met, she got promoted, moved to Orlando, subsequently moved to Orlando again. We moved from downtown Thornton Park to Winter Garden area, and then from there moved again because she got promoted again, all while I'm playing flag football and enjoying, just meeting new people and kind of new environments. And a lot of this stemmed from just, ideas with flag football. And then when I got to Jacksonville, started playing like really, really high level adult men's league, adult men's flag football, and it was super, super competitive. And then kind of slowed down a little bit when I moved back down to Orlando after Christina got promoted again, and really just started playing co-ed, kind of slowed down a little bit, just wanted to enjoy just life. I kept getting injured as I was getting older, and one of the days, I think it was like 2 or 3 games into the season, and we were doing okay, just not really that great, but I was playing quarterback. They were dropping every pass, everything. It doesn't matter what I threw, it was dropped. And then all the flags, they never got pulled. We just kept missing. I think there was just a huge reluctance to pull the flags, myself included, for whatever reason. So after that, I just, I was kind of down and trying to figure out ways to help the team just improve overall. So I took a trip to Lowe's and ended up in the PVC aisle, tubing, PVC, et cetera, and started messing around with different gauges of PVC and Plasti Dip. So if you're not familiar with Plasti Dip, it's basically it's if you have a screwdriver, for all intents and purposes, this is a screwdriver that doesn't have a grip on it. You dip this in the Plasti Dip after it dries, similar to kind of like your rum and your spirits. It dries, so it gives you a little bit of something to grip. The cool thing with this is that they had blue, orange, and white. So I ended up doing the Gator colors and the Plasti dip. So fast forward a little bit, those dried, cured a little bit, and my business partner and I started tossing around in the driveway, the backyard, just trying to figure out, hey, does this work? And we quickly realized it does work, but it was extremely painful. PVC pipe, you're tossing PVC back and forth and it's chunking up your knuckles, hitting you in the face. It's just not ideal. So, it was a good 2.5, 3 year R&D process, just testing out various different materials, foams, going to the beach, seeing if they floated, seeing what the salt water would do, putting it underwater for extensive periods of time to see how how the foam would react. And then finally landed on a company that we're actually very happy with right now. Brought the product to market, as you see right here. So it's EVA foam. A lot of people think it's PVC just because of the nature of what the product is. We call it a HECOstix. Initially, it was called a tri-stick, just because of the way that I had it set up. It was in a T-sticks, tri-sticks. And then it kind of just formed, just trying to figure out ways to build the business. And I said, okay, so we'll do hand-eye coordination sticks. And I was like, okay, let's just abbreviate it so it sounds better. So that's where HECOstix came from, hand-eye coordination sticks. The object of HECOstix in general is to catch the color that's being called. So if you and I were standing 5 to 10 yards apart from each other, we would toss it back and forth and call the color out. So it would be, I would just toss it to you and I would call red. Toss it back, you'd call blue, so on and so forth, until you're comfortable just catching this HECOstix. There are varying levels of difficulty. So, you can increase or decrease the rotation. You can increase or decrease the velocity. So I can also change the cadence of my calls. So if you and I are standing 5 yards apart, I call the color, then toss it to you. It's a lot easier because you have a lot more time to react and adapt to the rotation. As opposed to if I toss it to you and then wait until it's about a yard away, then call the color, you have a lot less time to react. So you're working on information processing, reaction speed. When I call a hand and the color, so I say left hand blue, you've got to process which hand that your color are catching it with and the correct color. We also go as far as doing numbers too. So red is 1, blue is 2, and white is 3. I'll toss it and I'll say 6 minus 4 left. And you've got to process 6 minus 4 is 2, 2 is blue, catch it left. So it's forcing you and the end user to, rapidly process information on the fly. Fantastic for athletes, coaches, parents looking to just kind of get their kids outside, doing things other than playing on technology and tablets, etc. Great for physical therapy, outstanding for physical education as well. We've got a full K through 12 national standard written curriculum that we'll be launching here very shortly as well. And then we're doing a lot with concussion protocol. So there's just a lot of things going on right now with HECOstix. In addition to just the recreational aspect of it, it's just a lot of fun to toss around. It's fun to just hold. For me, I work on my grip strength. As you can see, the end of it's super soft, durable. So I'll just sit here, kind of like a stress reliever. Yeah. Right now, it's everything's stressful, so every little bit helps. But that's kind of just the gist of the product, and I created it to just help benefit the team. When I started bringing all the original prototypes out, people they chuckled a little bit. They're like, "What the heck is that, dude? Really?" And after a while, they're like, "Yeah, that's actually pretty cool, and it's fun to play around with." I'm like, "Great." So take one home, give me some feedback after a week, and then after a week or so, we would get great feedback, and then give it to somebody else, and then that was kind of how the prototyping started.
That's great. Now, that's really good information that you just shared with us. Now, when you were building that prototype out of PVC pipe, plastic dip, like the whole 9 yards, and you brought this out, were you serious about it, or did people, you said that they laughed a little bit, but when they laughed and they were like, what's going on? Like, what goes on in your head? It's like, well, this is just going to be just to try and get my flag football team just to pull a freaking flag. Or
right.
Were you like, okay, at what point did you realize that this was a great tool?
And it was probably like late late June 2018. We're at the beach, Clearwater area. Christina had won an incentive trip, so we were out there with all her colleagues and just tossing around with people out there on the beach and just seeing the actual joy and laughter and fun that it was providing to everybody that was there. Because at that point, I was like, this is really awesome. And I like playing with it, and my friends like playing with it, and the flag football team is benefiting from it. But, let's get some unbiased opinions. And, doing that, it was one of those things. It's like, there are showstoppers in show business. It's like, all right, that was an unbelievable finale. This is like a showstopper in life where people, if you're walking by, you've never seen it before. So you're like, what the hell is that? And a perfect example, Christina and I were at the Florida-Georgia game like 3 years ago, I believe. And we were just, I was just sitting there in the lobby of the hotel, and I was just tossing this up, and it was rotating like this, and I was catching it white on every time. And someone walked up, just sitting in the lobby and just tossing it. And they're like, I have to ask, man, what is that thing? And then, one thing led to another. So we started tossing it in the lobby of the hotel, and they're like, dude, this is amazing. This is so much fun. And yeah, it's like, it's the same reaction no matter where I take it, no matter where I go. And, for me and Kevin and everybody else involved with HECOstix, for the most part, whenever we go out, right now we can't, but, this is sitting right next to us at the bar, or it's sitting next to us at the beach or the park or wherever we're at, we have one. And people always stop and they always ask what it is.
Yeah, no, it's you call it a showstopper. In my business, we call it a purple cow. Islamorada Beer Company was we read a book called The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. I picked it up at a conference when I was at Pope John Paul High School. We went on a marketing conference, and the guy was raving about the purple cow. So I bought it immediately. Really small book. And it's one of those things that you're right. It is 100% a purple cow. I'm going to use purple cow. So it's 100% a purple cow. When I brought it out to my lacrosse team this season, they were all just looking at it like, what is that? But as soon as I introduced it to them, they had a lot of fun with it the first time. They even asked me to bring it to another practice again. They want to continue using it. I'm going to use if there's any coaches out there listening, this tool is a really good tool. If there are any lacrosse coaches, I know I have some lacrosse coaches on my feed and people that listen to it. For goalies, it's such a big tool. Left, right, color, hand-eye coordination.
Tracking.
But for every athlete, I think I have seen in your, by the way, follow HECOstix on all social media platforms. You're going to see some really great things. One thing that you didn't mention, you mentioned athletes, kids, and everything, but elderly, for, the building of the mind. I believe you didn't you post something on, I believe I saw something posted with HECOstix and the elderly, like they were throwing it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of senior living communities that are using HECOstix right now. a lot of Alzheimer's patients, a lot of Parkinson's patients, just working on dexterity, just cognitive function. So, if you don't use it, you lose it. And unfortunately, that's part of retiring. Is most people they don't want to do a whole lot, and unfortunately, it rapidly increases the process of moving on to a better life or whatever. But yeah, so. I always tell my mom, I say, Mom, when you guys are up there and you're just relaxing in the living room, you have nothing else better to do, instead of just grabbing that first cup of coffee in the morning, just toss the HECOstix around, because it's gonna invigorate your mind and make you sharp, as opposed to just bam, that quick shot of caffeine in the morning and let's go. It's just, hey, toss it, call the color, and you're literally just stimulating your brain right when you wake up, and it's just you're starting to fire on all cylinders. So yeah, the senior communities, the elderly, this is fantastic too for, like I said, dexterity. Working on grip strength. A lot of people that might have arthritis or any impingement in their grip or anything joint related, this is going to be very beneficial. Just every day doing 5 to 10 exercises or 5 to 10 on each color on each hand. That way it's quantifiable and you can track the results. So yeah, great point.
So let's run through this. You place your first order. You got your tooling right. You got everything is right. Your first perfect order, right? Your first. I know. I've been
Perfect.
there.
I don't know about
That's
perfect.
why I'm saying your first, your best order, right? I mean, I've been there where we didn't get like completely perfect in the beer for months. So
Yeah.
like, and then I don't, everybody gets the headaches. You have, I don't want to hear about headaches, right? I want to hear your first order, your first perfect order. What was, you got this in your hand and you're like, holy crap. This, because I've been there. I know you felt it because I've been there. Our first case of beer, our first bottle of rum, I look at it and you're like, wow,
Oh yeah.
what's going through your mind? What is your first step after you see that in your hands?
It's the first order itself was just, it was eye-opening. You're like, wow, people want to buy this. Okay. It's like the snowball, like the snowflake is starting to fall and kind of matriculate down the hill, and you're like, all right. And then the next order comes through, and then the next order. And then, before you know it, you've got 50, 60, 100 orders. And you're like, okay, so let's reevaluate what's going on, because when you're bringing a new product to market, you have no idea what to expect. We didn't have any expectations other than, let's buy 500, which is what we did initially, and then we'll test the market. We already tested the market a little bit in 2018 with just kind of handing out stuff here and there and samples at football games, but with unbelievably great reviews. So we're like, okay, so let's actually roll this out and sell it. Like I said, it sold through 500 in about, I want to say it was less than a month. And then we realized, okay, we have to place another order. This is going to be significantly larger. Where are we going to come up with the capital? So, there's so many ebbs and flows in the part of business that no one tells you about. And it's managing inventory, it's logistics and all these things. And, after that first order, we're like, okay, let's go. Giddy up, this is real. So it was, after we sold the first 500, we were rocking.
Yeah, and your social media is phenomenal. I have to ask one more question,
Sure.
because I thought, like, I thought it was cool as hell. Like, I was like, oh my god, this is nuts. I think I texted you, because, and then you were like, send me that video. But I saw it. I'm a big sports guy, and I forget, Alvin Kamara, was it Alvin
It
Kamara?
was, yeah.
Yeah, when Alvin
Dr. Reef.
Kamara, huh?
And Dr. Reef, yeah.
Yeah, when I saw Alvin Kamara on YouTube, like Yahoo, or this video, I'm like, you made it. Like, I was like,
It was everywhere.
it was awesome. It was awesome. What was your first reaction to that?
So we were actually at Shape America, excuse me, in Tampa, the last day of Shape America, which is basically just, physical education teachers, coaches, just student athletes and students in general. They all kind of, they go there and they talk about new innovative products, best practices, etc. And, when that hit, my phone just started blowing up. It was, seriously, I've never seen my battery go from 100% to 50% that fast. It was unreal. And then we started seeing it like blowing up even more throughout the day. So it got to the point where, we were just sitting back on, this is going to be insane. And it was, man. Like, I can't even say like how much of an impact it had on the business. And that happened in April. And we saw a massive spike. And then it just continued from there. So it's we're blessed to be able to have a product that, is used by so many people in various different verticals.
Name drop 5. Give me 5. Name drop 5.
I mean, you
Because I know you have Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara, Gunnar Peterson, every baseball team in Major League Baseball for that part. NFL, University of Florida Gators, you're using them. Your FAU.
Yeah.
But I'm
trying to get UM to use them.
They will. It's eventually going to happen. Alabama's using them. I mean, there's so many. Dr. Jeffrey Kuchar, a neuro sports doctor. That guy's at the top of his field. He's now using them and integrating them with his patients and concussion protocol. there's just so many applications. And initially when we came up with this, it wasn't to do all these things. It wasn't to, appeal to this broad of an audience. It was legitimately just to improve hand-eye coordination. And then it's just spiderwebbed out into so many different things, which is, we're beyond blessed.
What's the biggest surprise you have had in starting this business that you were like, good or bad, doesn't matter, like that you never would think of?
I mean, the biggest surprise is just how fast and how rapidly things can spread with the emergence of social media. Like you said, the Alvin Kamara thing happens, and then a lot of the other athletes, they see that, and then they're like, okay, so this has some validity. And then when you start getting into other audiences and you see it start to just, like I said, spiderweb, I mean, how fast that happens is mind-boggling to me. It really is. How fast a video can go viral and have that much of an impact, it's incredible. It really is. I mean, it could be good and it could be bad too. So I mean, there's bad viral videos, but this happened to be, something that we're very blessed with.
Yep. Now, what are the next steps for HECOstix and the company?
Next steps is we're, kind of just fine tuning everything, interior, exterior design of the product itself. It's phenomenal, operates very efficiently. We've got a lifetime warranty on it as well. So, we're just continuing to add to the product and make sure that, moving forward, we kind of grow with the times and the changes, looking at incorporating lights in there as well. So, utilizing nighttime applications and, I guess more tailgating and recreational use. So just a couple different iterations of what we're working on. And then we've got a new product that we're going to be bringing to market within the next 6 to 12 months. So that's another really eye-opening experience is bringing the second product in the field to market.
You're innovating HECOstix. It's going to be under the same family, or is it a completely new, different, under the same family? Okay.
Yeah, so it's all, what we're trying to do right now is bring, cognitive development to the forefront. And it's not just, okay, you're playing catch, you're tossing it back and forth. It's really understanding the benefits of the product. It's really understanding the benefits of the training itself, not just with HECOstix, but using tennis balls and using reaction balls like the vector ball. These are things that we're trying to help bring to the forefront so that people understand how important vision training is, how important cognitive development is. And it's something that we're extraordinarily passionate about. And, a lot of the products that we're going to be moving forward with in our portfolio are going to be cognitive driven.
That's great. Good luck with that. Can't wait to see it in the market. Oh, what's that? Where is it?
Did you see that?
Is it on there? You got it on Men's Health? That's huge. Congratulations, man. That is huge.
That dropped today.
That did it, really?
Yeah.
You need to get that framed.
Oh yeah, I bought a few copies of it. Obviously, I'm going to send one to my mom and my stepdad, and keep one at the office or something here too. But yeah,
that is awesome. One of the things that I tell every entrepreneur, every student that I meet, whenever they do something good, blow it up. Let people know, because it's your brand. You're building your brand.
Right.
It's when you're building your brand, you're not. It's not about being humble or not being humble. It's about building your brand. You are a business, right? And I've touched on that a lot. And, you and I have a lot of things in common. Number one is we're both really good looking. Number two is we both married amazing women. You said, Christina is a baller in the sales and spirits world. I can't wait to interview her because it's my field, and it's just like it's pretty cool.
It's gonna be amazing, yeah.
But we both are driven. We both see our wives in such a hustle mode all the time. How do you and Christina work this hustle? How do you guys build off of each other? Because I know my wife and I, we build off of each other by sharing our our bad stories and then sharing our good stories, and then kind of like she'll give me feedback, I'll give her feedback. Sometimes we don't take it, but it's like different. So how do you and Christina build off of each other?
Yeah, so right now, I think everybody that's in a relationship is experiencing something that's just, and I use the word unprecedented because I told Christina, like, I think the word of 2020 is going to be unprecedented. And, going through these times and everything that's transpiring with us moving from Winter Garden, her accepting a new position down here, selling our house, buying a new house, living in temporary living, it's taught us a lot about ourselves internally, our relationship, and just being able to communicate, because there's going to be a lot of times where you're just uncertain because we've never done these things before. So being able to communicate with each other openly has really helped. It's just keeping those lines of communication open and being truthful and transparent. But also, keeping technology at bay as much as we can. I think that's really important. We try to put our phones down, and when we're having dinner, when we're having conversations, it's not one of those where you're like looking here, you're like, you're actually absorbing the information that you're hearing and digesting it, and then articulating your point, whether you're debating or whether you're just having a conversation. It's being able to just listen and hear what they're saying. And I think that goes a really, really long way, not just in these day and ages and this time right now, but just moving forward, as people kind of progress, getting back to some sense of normalcy. It's just really important to just communicate. And she and I are able to do that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she works all the time. I work all the time. So we're, when we finally converge and come together, we're very appreciative of our time together, because it's, right now she's in a different office, I'm in this office, and it's like for the most part all day we're separated and come back together, and we're lucky, to be able to do that right now. But just being able to communicate big time.
Yeah, that's communication for Vanessa and I is key. All right, now I close off the segment. Great story, loved it. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, so for us, obviously what we're trying to do and we're trying to accomplish right now is just improving the quality of life with everybody around the world. And, being able to share that message and, just let everybody know that we're not just a product. We're not just a hand-eye coordination trainer. We're a community of people that are trying to build something together. And I think that you see that when you share something on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and you see it pick up across the community, helping out, which is something that we're very proud of being able to do, is helping Feeding South Florida. $1 is 7 meals. And in this day and age, 7 meals goes a really, really long way. So, just blessed to be able to help support that part of the community ongoing as well. And just letting everybody know that, every little bit helps. And we're here for the South Florida community, the United States, everyone. But, this is fun. This is a fun business to be in. And, we're blessed to be able to know people like yourself. And, blessed to see you guys having success and doing what you're doing. Especially with reading to kids, man, that's so amazing. Honestly, it's awesome, dude. It's really amazing to see.
Something to do, man. It's like you have to do something to make the world a better place. Takes a little domino.
Yeah, I mean, what are you guys doing to occupy your time?
So Vanessa's going for her doctorate. So you've been there. She's on her world, and I'm just trying to get, I started the podcast. I'm trying to learn a lot about podcasting, trying to build a brand, trying to get, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and it's always the same questions, and it's always the same this, it's like, and I have a couple questions that are the same that I'm intrigued, but I just want real talk with real people. I just want that there's struggles, there's, everything, like, especially now that so many people are starting a business, so many people are inventing. You said that, you were just a kid always trying to entertain yourself. I wrote on my Instagram, and I wrote it on the storyline the Instagram stories. I didn't write it on my feed, and I completely forgot what I wrote. But I wrote something. It's like, I hope out of some, like, out of this comes a young professional that is just in their room inventing something, and finding a way to entertain themselves. It's like, let's root for that person. Let's root for, the young man or the young lady that's writing code, and they will make the next multi-million-dollar app, and that's what kind of I'm still doing. One of the things that I'm doing as a company is I'm creating an employee manual. We're on year 6, and we don't have an employee manual because you don't have time. Like you said, you're always on the go. And you never realize, you blink and you're already 6 years in. We went from no employees to 37, and it's kind of like, and you don't have time to write this up. Now I'm like, this is great. So we're writing like a cohesive plan of action for our sales team, so they all know what to say, how to say it, so we can all be uniform in our message.
Right.
Fortnite, Fortnite. I never played Fortnite before. Got into it. That was like my little stress reliever.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's we're just chilling at home. So
that's awesome, man. No, you do so much for the community, dude. It's really awesome to see just everything, man. Your success, and Christina and I, we talk about this type of stuff all the time. Like, where we thought we would be, and what we see happening in the world. And we were watching Fallon last night, and we're like, man, how crazy is it to watch Jimmy Fallon do a monologue from an iPad? Yeah. Like, just where we are in the world. And one of the things that because you were asking in some of the questions you had mentioned, like a favorite quote and doing stuff.
Oh yeah. So hold on. Don't get ahead of me.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
All right. So let's jump into our 5 questions. All right.
Perfect segue.
Perfect segue. Your first one is your favorite quote.
My favorite quote is, it's kind of an abbreviation, but it's "thoughts are things." And Christina will attest to this being something that I say on a daily basis. It's true. It's. Have you ever read the book The Secret?
No, I have not.
I thought it was just BS, and I went out and found a rock, and this is my gratitude rock, and I wrote on it and everything, and I kept it in my pocket, and it was just something to remind myself to be thankful all the time. So I kind of carried that thought process all the way through, currently, but it's true. So when you think about things and you vocalize them, you write them down, they become reality. And part of what HECOstix is I have this piece of paper saved at the townhouse we're staying in, and it just says T-Sticks at the top, and it's got like a breakdown of all of our stuff, and it's like, and I just kept writing it all over the place. And yesterday is a great example. So I had never heard of KiwiCo in my entire life, and one of our advisors, Sam, he and I were talking, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Because he has 4 girls. I said, like, "So Sam, what are you doing to occupy your time? What are you doing to teach the kids? How's that going?" He told me, he's like, "One of the things that we do is KiwiCo." And it's like, okay, so I'm on the phone with him, and I'm just looking it up. I'm like, this is pretty interesting. So fast forward, Christina and I pull into the garage area, and I look over to the townhouse to the right, and there's a box from KiwiCo, like leaning up against their garage. It's like, you've got to be kidding me right now, really? And just part of that, like putting that stuff out there, thinking about it, and then just like legitimately thinking about it constantly. And then I don't know if you guys do vision boards, but
yeah, we have one. Oh yeah.
I'm very big on vision boards, and I'll show you one of the things on my vision board if I can here. I don't know if you can see the top.
Yeah.
Where it says Men's Health.
Okay. Yeah, you got it in there.
Yeah, so that was on my vision board for 2020. And this isn't something that, when I wrote the vision board out, it wasn't in my thought process that it was going to happen right away. But I sit in front of this thing every day, constantly. I'm like, okay, how am I going to get there? What are we going to do to make it happen? And then, today it happened. So, yeah, man, thoughts are things. Manifest your own destiny and make things happen. It's
like that.
It really speaks to to everything that I believe in and just making it happen.
I really like that. I like that a lot. All right. Your favorite book?
Let's see. I got a couple of them, but Own the Day, Own Your Life by Aubrey Marcus. I've read that one and listened to it several times. And The Book of Joy with the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. That really helped kind of just ground me a little bit and appreciate things at a much grander level, and also very granular too. Just appreciating small things in life and slowing down. Really it's unreal, man.
I don't know when that's gonna happen.
No, but it's like a mental slowdown. Like the things that they
man.
talk about in the book is if you're driving on the highway and someone's riding their tail or riding your tail, and you see them riding up, and then all of a sudden they swerve around you, don't go after them. But why have road rage? You don't know what's going on and what's transpired in their life. They could be rushing to the hospital because their wife's getting hurt. You just don't know. But mentally, you're aggressive because you thought these people were just riding your ass. So the reality is just let them go because you have no idea. So just slowing down, not always thinking so fast.
Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath, and I had a professor. He shared a story with us that he was mentoring this guy, and this guy turned into a big CEO. I forget. This is a long time ago, but I'll never forget this. And he goes he was telling his professor, just like what you said, mentally slow down. And when he got his interview to be the CEO of the company, they asked him a question. And he said, "Can I get a minute to think about it?" In the interview, just like that. Wow. And, that's ballsy. Like, that's like, I mean, I would never, I don't know if I would ever do that. But if you think about it, that's probably the best answer that you can give in an interview to be CEO of a company, not making any rash decisions.
Right.
So I was like, it's like he literally said that, "Can I get a minute to think about what I'm going to say?" And he said that he was sitting in silence in the room with everybody else.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Awkward, but
it's awkward, but
that's strong.
That's strong. It's strong. So I can't wait to use that line. I have that in my pocket because I can't wait to use that line.
You will. Now thinking about it, you will.
Yeah, I'm going to put it out there.
I'm telling you.
All right. What is your biggest fear, Josh?
My biggest fear is it actually kind of happened once. So I have like two fears of one is someone like breaking in my house and while I'm sleeping and doing something, which when we were living in Jacksonville, Christina and I were sleeping and someone broke into our house at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, it was just a whirlwind, but needless to say, they were arrested, a week or so afterward. I won't go into the crazy story, but it was a wild 5 minutes of my life.
Oh, wow.
Actually, while I have you here, I might as well just tell you. So Christina and I were laying in bed, and she's like, "Josh, I think someone's in the house." And I said, well, probably the cats, because at the time we had 3 cats.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, the cats are all in bed with us right now." So, I mean, my heart rate just went spiked, and I shot out of bed. Disclaimer, I was wearing these Ralph Lauren boxer briefs that I had had for a number of years that were essentially a skirt at that point. And I ran down where I heard the noise, and I looked out, and I saw a foot climbing out of the window. So, yeah, it was just like an immediate, almost like heart attack. So ran around at the side of the house, opened the door, and the guy was standing right there. Mind you, this is December, and I'm in this is Jacksonville, so it's a little chillier, like around 30 degrees. So I'm in boxer briefs that you never want to be seen in. And this guy looks at me, and I'm just yelling at him, cussing him out. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah." And he just dropped all of her stuff, her work bag, purse, like a bunch of stuff was on the counter, dropped the stuff and ran at me. So charged me. And I was standing in front of the door, and all I can remember was his head hitting me right in the bottom of my chin, and I went flying into the house. And right after that, a fight ensued, and he was just out of his mind. He was on drugs.
Wow.
And all I kept saying was, I didn't think I was going to get popped. I came here to get money to buy crack. I mean, like, he was saying all these things while we were fighting and actively engaged in a fight. And the only way that I can describe this guy and his demeanor was, I would hit him and he would fall down and he would just keep coming back. So it was like, you know, those things that you fill with sand or water and they just bounce over, come back up. That was that guy. So it ended like he and I were in the front yard. We just like basically double-leg shot on the guy, drove him into the front yard through a bunch of bamboo stalks, and I'm sitting there behind him. And I got him in a headlock, and then Christina comes out, and she's like, I'm on the phone with the cops. And next thing I know, I look back, and I'm like, get back inside. You're wearing nothing. And the guy goes, boom, headbutts me again. I go flying. I still have his hoodie. So he comes out of his hoodie, jumps over our fence in the front, and he's yelling at me. He's like, hey, man, can I get my hoodie back? I didn't know I was going to get popped. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me right now? And I was holding his hoodie. I'm like, yeah, dude, come on back. I got your hoodie right here. Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so he made the mistake of breaking into someone else's house down the street, like kind of catty corner to where we were staying at the time, and the police caught him. So they
That's
arrested
great.
him.
Wow, that's a cool story. I like it.
But yeah, so that happened. That's like one of my biggest fears is like, you know, sleeping and waking up and like someone's right there. And also the open water, you know, the movie Open Water, that's just terrifying for me. Absolutely terrifying. You know, not knowing what's underneath you at night, awful. Truly, truly awful. Knock on wood, that never happens.
That's great. Okay. Wow. Open Water is a movie?
Well, the movie, the book.
Okay.
Like,
I gotta research that.
Yeah, I mean, you fall overboard on a cruise ship and you're just bobbing.
Yeah, no. It's all right. No. I'll share a story with you. I can't say it here, but one day we'll share a story about open water.
Nice.
Now, this question I ask everyone just because I want to see what everybody thinks. Like, I just want to know what I'm missing. Like, you know, I like to hear interpretations of this. So why do you think Disney is so popular?
Oh, man. So they've just diversified their audience at such a high level. And I say that because, you know, they basically own, if you subscribe to Disney Plus, you know, which I do for the kids, is they have something for
everyone. I do, and I don't have kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So they're so diverse in the market, the audience that they market to. You know, they've got Nat Geo, they've got you know, Pixar, and all these movies that I actually like, but also, you know, the kids can watch too. So it's great, especially right now with what's going on. You know, being able to just pop, you know, Frozen 2 on, it's fantastic. Plus, you know, they also own ESPN, so I mean, they can really market to a massive audience just through diversification.
See, no one has said that. I like that.
What about you?
Why do I think Disney's so popular?
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in experiences. And one of my guests answered that. But it's not like the experience that you're having there now, right? Like at the moment, you know, it's an experience that when you leave, certain things come up or certain smells come up, and they take you to that place where you had no worries for 10 hours, you know, where you can do whatever you want for 12 hours. My wife and I love Napa because, you know, we weren't big wine drinkers, but we went to Napa once and we became really big. I have 2 wine things in my office. You can't see here, but they're in the back there. But the reason why I love Napa, and you know, I can't wait to talk to Christina, but like, I think Christina's and I conversation is going to be for like 8 hours, but not. But you know, spirits, beer, wine, they take, if you do it, I mean, even if I were to drink a Natty Light, it will remind me of my fraternity days, right? But if I were to sip on a glass of wine, one glass, I'm not talking about getting super sloshed. I'm just talking about a glass of wine from Camus. And it's just like, I remember that we were there on December 26th at 9 a.m. It was supposed to open at 9:30. They let us walk the ground. I got there at 9:31, tried a sampling. Chuck Wagner came out, talked to me for like 45 minutes about liquor company, you know, and he gifted me a Magnum bottle signed by him for Christmas, you know, and that experience, you know, I can smell the roses in the garden at Case, you know, I can smell everything at Camus because it's the stories, the experiences that, I mean, are phenomenal. Right. So that's why I think, you know, I think
by the
Disney
way, I'm super jealous of you when you speak of Napa Valley, because you obviously went hot air balloon riding.
We did, yes.
And yeah, on my other vision board for 2019, it was hot air balloon ride. And I knew that Christina and I were going to go to Napa, and I was like, all right, we're going to make this happen. So for our anniversary, it's like, hey, I got you a surprise. And she's like, well, what is it? I go, it's a surprise. I can't tell you. And she goes, well, I have a weird feeling that we may have gotten each other the same surprise. So can you tell me what it is? I'm like, oh, man, you go first. And just like, you know, long story short, we'll go at the same time. So I just ended up turning my phone around. I was like, hot air balloon ride in Napa Valley. And she's like, oh, okay. Yep, we did. We got each other the same gift. And yeah, lo and behold, when we get out there, the fog was super low. The weather wasn't conducive. So this has been like, it's a bucket list item for me.
Yeah, it was a bucket list item for us. Yep.
And I wanted to do it in Napa, and just, you know,
you got to do it. Save it for Napa. Save it for Napa.
We'll have to go back.
Yep.
And then, like, you know, joke, like 2 weeks later, you went to Napa and you were in a hot air balloon.
So we had to do it. And then my last question is, and you know, and I saved this one for last for you because of HECOstix. And HECOstix is, you know, you won't be able to build that hand-eye coordination. I've been reading the book, The Power of Habit. Can you see it?
Yeah, I've read it before.
I've been reading The Power of Habit. And, you know, and the big thing, even with hand-eye coordination, is you can't just do it once or twice. It's not going to do anything, right? You have to develop that habit. So, or even with anything in life, to be successful, you have to have a set core of habits that, you know, what habits have you formed in your life or from 2018 to now to develop HECOstix and to be who you are right now in your business?
You know, so that's a great question. And there's a lot that I've done, and there's a lot that I've changed just in my habits. One of those is as I've started reading a lot more, and by reading I say audible because I listen to the books on tape. There's just so much going on, and it's difficult for me to sit down and get a moment of silence. This is extremely rare for us, but yeah, it's something that I've really, I don't know, I've just kind of fallen in love with it, and learning from experts and learning from people that have gone through all of the same things that I'm going through, and they can kind of outline what it looks like and all the pitfalls to avoid and things like that for me. So reading, listening to books on tape, also writing down my goals and aspirations, whether it's short-term or long-term, is always have that in front of you and always be able to quantify what your goals look like. It kind of goes back to the thoughts are things, you know, just constantly hashing it in your head. How are you going to do this? And, you know, breaking it down super granular. So instead of just saying, I want to make $100,000 this year, okay, that's great. Well, how are you going to do that? And then breaking it down by month, and then each month break that down by week. So just being a little bit more detailed in that regard.
That was like The One Thing. Have you heard that? Have you read that one? Heard it?
What's that?
The One Thing, the book, The One Thing.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's just exactly what you just said. I actually listened to a podcast this morning when I was walking the dog, and it's just that. It's, you know, your habit will start off with one small domino that can knock over an entire, you know, building, right? Because it only takes one little domino to start that momentum, and then you can get huge momentum. So it's like, you know, I'm not good with habits, not good at all. And reading was something that I've always wanted to do. And I've had all these books, right? I just buy books. I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this. I don't know. So finally, about 2 months, 3 months ago, I was like, I need to read the one that I got highly recommended. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. It took me 2 months to read this book, and it's 140 pages, not even. And it's like a small book. It was horrible. You know, it's just like, what's that?
No pictures.
No pictures. No pictures. So it got to the point where I sat down and I'm like, I'm not learning. I used to love how to learn. Life got so busy, Josh, that for me, it was like, when I got home, there was so much weight on my shoulders from the day of like thinking and putting out fires that all I wanted to do was watch TV. But that wasn't me. Or I got home after a day of selling and answer my 100 emails that I missed all day because I can't get to them.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I hit not rock bottom, but I hit a wall of like, what the F are you doing with your life? You're not learning. You used to learn a lot. You used to pick up books. You used to write notes on your book. You used to do and now you're not doing it. And I got this one thing, and I read the one thing, and I finally finished it, and I went back to it, and I read it again. But that one only took me a week to read it again, and I took notes on every chapter, and I loved it, and every idea about it, and I researched it. I'm like, this guy, a lot of books now have podcasts, and now I just listen to the podcast. It's a And if people are out there, Josh said it earlier too, break down your goals. So for example, my goal was to read 20 pages a day. It's like, okay, well, what do you need to do in order to read those 20 pages? Well, I need to set time for myself to read those 20 pages. Okay, so how do you set time for yourself? Well, I need to do it before work. Well, what does that mean? It's like, okay, well, you have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, how can you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning? Well, I need to go to bed by 10:30. There it is, right? Perfect. So every day I have to wake up, and that's my habit, right? That's the habit that I want. I have to wake up by 10. I have to go to bed by 10:30. I go to bed by 10:30. I'm able to do all these things, right? I can go to bed by 10:30 and not do those things in the morning, but at least I went to bed at 10:30, which is creating that habit. And ever since I started doing that, I've been reading more and more and more and more, because it's like that little domino, So
yeah, like the book, I think it's called Always Make Your Bed, or Make Your Bed. That's a relatively short book, but it instills that discipline in you every day to make your bed when you get out of it, so that even if you had a bad day, you come back and you're getting ready to go to bed. You're like, nice crisp bed. It's made, and I can just pull the sheets over, and then you're in bed. But it's changing that one habit, and just one thing, make your bed. But yeah, there's a lot of those things, like the 5-second rule. I don't know if you've read that book or listened to that Audible book. That's great. It's basically, kind of just the cliff notes of it is count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it. Whatever it is, do it. So if your alarm's going off and you're laying in bed, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then turn the alarm off and go. So there's no second guessing. It's literally just go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. So there's a lot of those rules and things to kind of help trigger your brain to do things and kickstart itself.
Yes, sir. Well, friend, I appreciate you.
Likewise, brother.
Much success to everything that you're doing. I loved having this hour with you. Thank you very much. Thank you to your kids and for letting us do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And the family, and I appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon after all this.
Likewise. Jose, you're a rock star, man. Everything you do. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care, brother.
Take care.